Hello, my name is Allison Carmen, and welcome to my podcast, 10 Minutes to Less Suffering. And today I want to talk to you about courage. Growing up, I had this idea that people who were courageous never complained. They were stoic, they did the best they could, they didn't make a big deal of things, and they carried on. And it made me feel that I was not courageous, I wasn't strong. Because I was always emotional. I had anxiety, I had stress, and I never gave myself credit for showing up. And I think it's so important we recognize what courage is. So many of us want to be perfect, and we don't want to feel all these emotions, and we don't always want to be on a roller coaster of feelings. And it makes us feel that the people aren't like that are stronger or more successful or more accomplished. But it's just not true. If you're getting up every morning, and if you're going to work, or you're looking for a job, or you're taking care of your kids, or you're dealing with this pandemic, you are strong and you have courage. And it is a place for us to stand, to look at ourselves and see ourselves differently. Emotions have nothing to do with whether you're strong or not. Suffering has nothing to do with it. Crying has nothing to do with it. And when we don't see ourselves as courageous and strong, sometimes we stop trying because we're looking at our lives based on our successes, and we forget that courage is showing up, even if we fail, and even if things don't work out. And why that's so important, because that is a positive way to look at everything that we do, a strengthening way. We become so outcome-oriented that we lose our way. We lose our sense of self. We stop believing in ourselves, because we think if our efforts don't lead to the result we wanted, that's failure. I was just speaking to my friend the other day about how emotional the last few years have been for me since my husband left me. And I speak to this friend all the time, and I've cried and I've been upset. And she stopped me and said, "I hope you know how strong and courageous you have been." And I guess I wasn't seeing myself that way. I was seeing all the heartache and the grief. And then she said, "You showed up every day for your kids, every day for your clients, every day for your parents, every day for your job, every day for your community, no matter how you were feeling. So no matter how you might see yourself, no matter how broken you might feel, you have shown strength and courage." And there was something about that when she said that to me. I was able to actually sit up a little taller and see those attributes about myself. Because when you're trying to get yourself out of an emotional mess, you're thinking outcome. When will this change? When will this get better? And we forget that life is always about the journey and the path. So whatever you're going through today, look at that part of yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself that things are not the way you want them to be, that they're not working out perfectly like you planned. If you're getting up every day and you're trying, that is a win. And when we start to see this part of ourselves, everything starts to look different. Again, when we see ourselves as weak and we see ourselves as a failure, we just don't keep dreaming, because we forget that the journey is really what it's about. Yes, we want to achieve things and we want to have a good life, but the deep meaning of life is really in that journey. It's every day you get up and you show up. And then you do it again and again and again. And I promise you, eventually, if you have the courage and the strength to show up for your life, you will find your way. It's always when people give up too soon, because they're too busy looking at the final outcome, and they don't honor themselves for the process. Even when someone starts a business and it doesn't work out, I watch how hard they work. They went to work every day. They raised money. They employed people. And if they see their strength and courage, they're more likely to start another business. And I've seen it so many times. But the people who look at the final outcome as what matters, that the business didn't work out, they never start another business again. And maybe they don't want to, and that's fine. But they don't acknowledge the strength and the courage. They look at themselves as a failure. And that's why this is so important. We live in a society where it always seems like you're rewarded for the final outcome. But that comes and goes. And I promise you again that if you stay courageous and strong and see yourself as that, you will eventually have that kind of success. But we don't want to spend all our time beating ourselves up and not seeing that part of ourselves, that strength, that part to celebrate, that part to cultivate, just because we have all these other emotions going on. And it was so powerful again when my friend said that to me, because I guess in this part of my life I felt, why hadn't I moved on quicker? Why was it taking me so long? Why did I have so much pain? But that really wasn't the point. The point of the journey since my husband left me is that I went on the journey. And I showed the strength and courage every day to get up and carry on. And that's a huge platform for me to stand on. And it makes me see I have accomplished a lot because I've gotten through each day and I fulfilled my obligations. And it also makes me see how much I'm capable of. And when we could start to see ourselves as that, it's like the light goes on. We stop living in all the negativity of what we didn't do and what we don't have and who we're not and what can't happen. And it's like we flip it and we recognize the fact that we've tried so hard. And it takes courage and strength to live with uncertainty, to pursue our dreams, to even just get up every day and face everything that's going on in the world. And when we could shine that positive light on ourselves, that's a beautiful platform and a beautiful beginning that's going to give us more determination and some peace and some joy and some acknowledgement for what we accomplish every day. And then we build on that. And believe it or not, when you start to build on that, you're going to take another risk. You're going to make another choice. You're going to bet on yourself more. You're going to bet on your dreams. You're going to start that business. You're going to apply for that job because you're going to start looking at your courage and your strength as the most important thing, your willingness to show up and take risks, and less obsessed with your final destination and more obsessed with the process of life. So much is possible in our lives, but we just don't see ourselves because we judge ourselves based on standards that were created in the outside world. But when we pull back and we go back within, when we focus on that inner landscape and we focus on all that we are, we stop thinking about all that we're not. And who knows if any of that is even true. There's nothing wrong with crying. There's nothing wrong with feeling stressed. There's nothing wrong with feeling worried. It doesn't make you weak. And I'm not saying that they aren't good things to let go of, because yes, we can live a more joyful life if we're able to manage all these emotions. But it doesn't mean we can't achieve things. And it doesn't mean we're not wonderful. And most of all, it doesn't mean we're not strong and courageous. Because if you think about it, if you're suffering and you have the courage to show up anyhow, well, that means you're going to have the courage and the strength to show up for your success every single day. And you're going to be able to grow things and do things and invest in things that will blossom. Even if you've lost your job, even if you're going through a hard time, keep showing up because life keeps changing. Uncertainty is your best friend because if you want your life to change, it has to happen in the unknown, and life has maybe. You might be going through a hard time today, but maybe tomorrow will be better. Maybe that seed you planted will grow. Maybe that dream you have is possible. And maybe if you keep showing up every day and you keep working hard and you recognize your courage and you recognize your strength and you know you have what it takes, you will continue on. And one day you will achieve some of those dreams and some of those goals. But don't miss the beautiful journey, life as it is in the moment, and recognize your true strength and your true courage that you showed up every day. We will all get through this time if we keep showing up. But let's acknowledge our strength. Let's acknowledge our courage. And let's use that as a platform, as fuel to carry on every day. Let's make friends with uncertainty. Let's hold on to the hope. And always remember, maybe the best is yet to come. Thank you for listening to this podcast today. If you'd like to get in touch with me, you could email me at allison@allisoncarmen.com. If you'd like to buy my book, The Gift of Maybe, it's available at all major bookstores and online retailers. And if you like this podcast, you could subscribe and leave a comment.